What is up, everybody? It is the Oracle at Motion here, coming at you with a self-acceptance spread for all of my water signs. So I hope that y'all are enjoying the new year so well, and if you haven't checked it out already, I have readings for all of the signs for the whole new year ahead, and I also have a reading for the new year for the collective as well. And in a recent interview on my other podcast, the Spiritual Phoenix podcast, Cardsy B of Badass Bitches Tarot pointed out to me that it is the year of the Hanged Man. So that really is all about kind of getting a different perspective, being patient, and reflecting back on things. So with that being said, let's dive into today's reading. So you have the Oracle card of the Gentle from the Tao Oracle. And this says, penetrating, a soft approach, faith, moderation, a subtle but deep influence, understanding, and nonviolence. So this is really saying to cultivate a gentle approach in your self-acceptance. A lot of times we can be overly harsh on ourselves, and it can be really damaging to seeing ourselves as we really are. So the next card that comes up is retreat, a timely departure, letting go, withdrawal, reevaluation, retirement. Don't hesitate to walk away. So this is largely about kind of separating ourselves from the more destructive nature of our personality, and not so much in the sense that we don't allow ourselves to be who we are and incorporate all the elements, but sometimes we have to retreat from aspects of our character for a time to allow ourselves to heal. And I forgot to explain why this came up. So as you can see here in this card, there's what's called, that's relative to the I Ching, and I tossed the coins and that transforms into this card. It's called the changes. So the changes in that really is going from a gentle approach to somewhat of a retreating approach. So we're going to transition from being kind and compassionate to all parts to retreating from some of the behaviors that are destructive for us. And if any other signs besides water signs connect with that, very, very good. Now we have the sigil for you, and the sigil is flow, and it's kind of being in the flow of a flow is generally relatively gentle, and water has this unique property of seeking its own level, and all of that. So be in flow and allow yourself to be where you're at, and don't try to push yourself too hard. And then finally, we have the pendant that I made today, which is this awesome carnelian wire-wrapped bottle pendant. I've really been plugging away at pendant making, and I'm liking the results. So with that, I'm going to shuffle the cards. And while I do that, I'm going to take this time to tell you that if you like the self-acceptance reading and you want a more personalized one, you can get that on my shop. A link will be below. Also, you can donate to this podcast if you like through Anchor or one of the various other types of donation, or check out my other podcast. There's a lot of different links that'll be in the description, and they're there for you if you want. The thing that I would ask everybody to do regardless is like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're gonna break 1,000 subscriptions this year easily. Get in where you fit in now, and don't sleep on me because you'll regret it later. So with that, we're gonna get into the first card for you, which is a message from your higher self. And what comes up is the pole star. So the pole star is largely about this guiding light and this stable force that's constant throughout everything. So as you notice in this picture, all of these stars are kind of spinning around the other star. Due to the way that the Earth's axis is, one star in the sky actually is always constantly in the same place. And it's this central guiding light, and how that relates to the gentle and the retreat and flow and all of that is coming to the space within ourselves where we have this kind, compassionate awareness that we can use as our center point for our whole life experience. So when we're going through stuff and things are becoming a little bit more uncomfortable or more difficult, we can fall back on that. And that kind of taps into the principle of faith in the gentle approach to things. and just allowing what will be to be, but knowing that our still calm center is going to be okay regardless. And for water signs, us being kind of the emotional type, that's not always the easiest thing to do. But your higher self is pretty much telling you, tap into that. We all have that potential, and it's there for all of us. We just have to awaken to it and accept it. So moving from there, we're going to tap into who you think you are next. And you have the Page of Arrows, the Wren. So as you can see, it's this little itty bitty bird. So you kind of have yourself as this little force in this cold world. Arrows is relative to swords in traditional tarot, and swords are about the mind. So you have this mind of you don't see yourself in the largest light, and you're not aware of your full power, and you also see the world as this cruel and unforgiving place. There's this weird kind of trade-off there. So we have more power than we're aware of, but the power that we have isn't possessed by us. It's kind of gifted when we stop trying to control everything. So when you're in this space of being the Wren and you try to exert your influence, you can easily be crushed. But when you step into this ability of your power in this gentle way, and you quit trying to control stuff, you retreat kind of, you let your ego retreat, and you allow this still calm center to take place, and you go with the flow and allow your higher power to create stuff for you, you're going to get stuff better than you could ever fathom. Oftentimes, though, we kind of fall into this fear space and try to rush things and all of that, and then we wonder why we keep getting this wreckage. So you have this concept of being this little insignificant thing in this cruel world. It's not the case. You have a lot more power than you know. Just hang in there. So the next card that comes up, who others think you are. So you have the King of Bows, and that is the Adler. So as you can see, this is kind of more like people think of you as this writhing ball of serpents, where you might be difficult and uncomfortable to understand at times. So as a fellow Pisces, my emotional nature can often be misconstrued by a lot of people, and no matter how well I try to articulate it, there's this loss of understanding that can come up. One of the things, though, too, is with this ball of snakes, snakes are a symbol of wisdom. So sometimes people see you as this kind of ball of wisdom that's so intermingled that they can't separate itself. And the example that I'll give of this is anybody that's on Facebook or maybe has seen this meme of Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like pointing at stuff on this board, like trying to make these connections. Sometimes your information can come out so jumbled that others don't see it, and that can frighten people as well. The other element of that, though, is some people see you as this cohesive ball of various information that actually is all connected in a healthy way. Serpents are largely a good symbol, but they're often misunderstood by people, and I think that's applicable to this. So as far as how that relates to the gentleness and retreat, kind of, snakes come out when it's sunny, and they retreat when things are cold. I know for me, being a water sign, sometimes I stay in cold situations longer than it's maybe necessary, and that can actually make me less gentle. It can make me more aggressive. So if a snake is out in the cold, they'll become sluggish because they're cold-blooded. But when you're in emotionally cold circumstances as an emotional being, you can become more aggressive because your needs aren't getting met. So don't be hesitant to retreat. And the other element of that is if people view you as a serpent, as like this malicious force, and they misunderstand you, you got to retreat from that too. Life's too short to mess around with people that don't understand you. And then finally, who you really are. You got the Four of Stones, protection. And that actually is a very, very gentle card, and it kind of ties in with the gentle and retreat in lots of ways. So there's this little baby deer kind of nestled in this Stonehenge-esque structure, and there's a lot of green in the grass there. The green's relative to the heart chakra, so you're a safe haven, and your heart is a safe haven for people that can appreciate it and respect it. They can retreat there. It's a gentle space where if people carry reverence for it, they will feel comfortable. And it's a good place for you to revert to as well. It ties back to the pole star. You can be that central illuminating constant in your own world and other people's world, and you really do have a strong gift to offer people. It's really shifting from this weak little wren and understanding that you're supported like this stone structure there, because you are of the earth, and you are of a cosmic birthright. So to encapsulate everything real quick, go with the flow, be gentle when circumstances are asking you to retreat, pull back, tap into your inner light. You are that guiding star in the darkness for yourself and for other people. While you may not have the type of power you assume, you are much more powerful than you ever will know, and you are not this helpless little critter left out in the cold. Other people see you sometimes in an unfavorable light, and sometimes they're just frightened by your shine. That's going to be what it is. Don't take it to heart. And then finally, just know that you really are this safe space for certain people, and you offer this shelter in a cruel world. So water signs, I hope that resonated with you. I got a lot of information about myself there. And again, if you're listening to this on Anchor, check out our YouTube video. Link will be below. Or if you're watching it on YouTube, check out some of our other stuff on Anchor if you want to hear this podcast on the go. And then finally, look at the other descriptions or links in the description and donate if possible. Get a reading if you feel so compelled. At least like this video and subscribe to the channel. Stay blessed, people. Peace.